What's up guys, Jeff Belmont with the Old Town Fishing Team. We're going to talk about just getting started in kayak fishing tournaments. We're going to talk about kayak fishing tournaments, but namely kayak bass fishing tournaments for the purpose of this video. It comes down to two types. There's online or virtual tournaments, and then live in-person tournaments. Both of these types of tournaments are going to use the same system of catch, photo, release. That is the term we use for how we manage fish in a tournament. Catch, photo, release, or CPR. That means we're going to catch the fish, take a photo of the fish, and then release the fish unharmed, hopefully as quick as possible, so as to be easier on the fish and maintain our resource. All right, so like I said, there's two types of tournaments. We're going to talk about onlines first. Online basically means what it says. It's online. The tournament will be run via a tournament management app. The three most popular are TourneyX, iAngler, and Fishing Chaos. Right now you can find those on your phone. They also all have mobile websites available. So online tournaments, basically they're exactly what they say. They're online, they're virtual. They're usually over multiple days. Most of the time they're either statewide or nationwide, or at least regional, broken down by multiple states. You can enter them via a smartphone or the mobile website. They're usually low cost, anywhere from $10 to $50. The nice thing about onlines is you get to usually fish your local water. So if you enter a tournament that's nationwide or statewide, for example, that means at your convenience that you can go fish your favorite honey hole or body of water within the allotted amount of days given by the tournament director. So in that respect, it's a great starting point for folks just getting into kayak fishing. So live tournaments, much like a bass boat tournament, if you're familiar with any of those, live tournaments are just what they say. They're live in person, everybody on the same body of water. There's usually a captain's meeting before the tournament. Everyone fishes the same body of water over 1 or 2 days, and then they meet up for a weigh-in afterwards where you can interact with other anglers. And that's kind of the fun part. Whether you had a bad day or not, you get to meet up with your crew. The live tournaments, they're broken down into multiple levels. They all kind of operate the same. Almost every tournament now uses one of the tournament management apps I mentioned, but there are still a few that'll use a digital camera with an SD card that you come physically turn in at the weigh-in. But pretty much they all operate the same, using the catch, photo, release format. The difference between the locals, state, and national level live tournaments is basically cost. Local tournaments you can enter from $20 to $50 to $75, depending on the size of the club and where it's at. And then your regional and national tournaments, you start talking about $100 to $250 for entry fees. And then when you get to the championship levels of those different national circuits, then now you're talking $400 to $500 entry fees with some large payouts. The three main national circuits are the Hobie Bass Open Series, of course BASS, the Bass Nation Kayak Series, and then KBF, or Kayak Bass Fishing. And then locally, I mean, there's so many local clubs, I can't list them all here, but you can get online, Facebook, whatever, and search out your local club pretty easy. And then regionally, there's some other regional series as well. If you're wanting to get in kind of a mid-level event, the All-American Kayak Series, the Elite Kayak Series up in the Northeast. Out west, you got the Wild West Bass Trail, and there's some other ones in there, the Kayak Bass League, and many others. You can find those online as well. So one of the cool things about live tournaments, like I said, is the meetups for the captain's meeting and the weigh-ins. And what you can expect when you go to one of those is, whether it's local or national, the kayak community is different. Everybody is very welcoming. Everybody is very open to help new anglers. So if you're a new angler, find a local tournament that's live and enter it. Even if you're entering online, find a local Facebook group or web forum and get in there and ask questions and talk to folks, because you'll be able to develop relationships. And many experienced kayak anglers are more than willing to step out and help answer any questions you have, or make you feel comfortable at your first event, or even go out with you many times. So let's talk about the gear you need. It's pretty basic. You need a kayak that floats, a paddle. Every tournament requires a PFD. When you're talking about your PFD, which I have an Old Town Lure Angler PFD, you're also talking safety. One of the main reasons you're required to wear it is for liability, but you should wear it anyway, just because it's safe to do so, whether it's an inflatable or a foam filled one like this. On your PFD, most tournaments are also going to require some safety devices. Number one being a whistle. That's just usually a state requirement. Then also recommend carrying a knife with you, and some sort of light like this right here to turn on in case you have trouble out on the water and it's dark. Besides the safety light you carry with you, most tournaments are also going to require a 360 light or a headlamp at the very least. That's also usually a state
requirement from the Corps of Engineers or Game and Fish or whoever it may be, your regulating agency in your state.
You're going to need a smartphone. When I say smartphone, it'd be an iPhone or an Android, but with that smartphone, one of the number one things you're going to need to get is a phone tether. I use the Night Eyes hitch because one of the most heartbreaking things is to be out on the water and a fish go to flopping and you fumble your phone into the lake. So get some sort of phone tether. There's multiple options available. I use the Night Eyes hitch. You're going to need a measuring board. Right now, the catch board is the number one most widely accepted board. It is metal and pre-marked with the lines. I'll try to show you a little photo of it. I would recommend getting a net. It's not required. However, you can save your bacon on tournament day. If you're trying to land a fish in a tough spot, or he's barely hooked or she's barely hooked, you can scoop it with a net and be good to go. You don't have to have it, but once again, a nice to have. Tackle, you can be as minimal as you want to be, or bring all the stuff you own. I mean, all you need to get started is a rod, reel, a couple lures, small tackle bag, and you're good to go. But like I said, outside of the kayak, paddle, the common things to get you on the water, you're going to need a good PFD. You have to have a PFD, a measuring board, and a net. And I'm going to also recommend a tournament identifier holder. The catch photo release system works because everyone is assigned a unique identifier the day of the tournament, and you can either write that on a card or they actually give you a card, and that helps secure your photos to know, number one, that it was taken by you and taken that day on tournament day. And so I'm going to recommend an ID holder such as the tourney tag, and there's a bunch of DIY options as well. Kayak fishing tournaments are a ton of fun. I mean, if you're a competitor like me, it's a great replacement for sports I used to play but really can't anymore because I'm getting a little older and the knees and back just won't hold up. But I can get out here and compete in kayak tournaments at multiple different levels and have a great time doing it. Find a tournament near you and get out there and start enjoying the competitive side of this sport with the rest of us.